Okay, so we'll be recording this so that we can also post it for those who cannot attend. So let me go ahead and start to share. Here we go. Okay, so welcome everybody. Good evening. This meeting will please come to order. This is our first official PTA meeting today on September 12th, 2024. And I will go ahead and get going. We have our agenda here with our, that was posted on the 2nd of September. With all of our topics that we will be reviewing. Some of the things we'll do, like every PTA meeting, we'll talk about engagement opportunities. We'll have some updates from the principal, Miss Ringwald, and the teacher updates from Miss, I'm accepting people, from Miss Roberts. So thank you for being here for that. We have some motions that we have to go through just to kind of get some of our process in order, upcoming events, and then at the very end, we'll have an open floor for any discussion or anything that anyone wants to share, would like to bring to the attention of the group. So I'll go ahead and get started with our breathing tool. So we are going to focus on practicing what we teach our little ones today and just take a moment as parents and caregivers to just take 1 minute to just take a deep breath and relax. So I'm going to feel free to pause your computer or your camera if you'd like, and we'll just take a moment just to relax. Okay, so I hope you all had a moment to just relax and take a moment just to take a breath and just a moment of acknowledgement and thanks for everyone who's here tonight. So we'll start with our community agreements. These were established many moons ago, and I think they're really valuable and helpful for all of us just to remember why we're here. So we are here to focus on honoring each other's humanity, identifying and removing barriers, keeping our kids at the center as always, making space and taking space. We're all learners, so let's just get curious, lean into discomfort, owning our impact, and embracing multiple truths. So after reviewing these agreements, I just want to take a moment in the chat if you'd like to just introduce yourself and maybe just describe what you're feeling tonight or one of the reasons why you're here tonight participating, just so we can kind of get to know each other. So however you're feeling or what you're excited about this school year as well, please feel free to put that into the chat. And also if you have a moment, Priscilla so kindly included the attendance form in there. If you can click in there so that we can mark attendance for this evening's meeting, please. Thank you, Jamie. Jamie's also tracking attendance. Fantastic. Okay. So I'm going to be multitasking for a moment as we have parents coming in, which we are very thankful for. We have up to 24 participants. Fantastic. So our mission statement for Maya Lin, for those of you who haven't had a chance to review it, and some of you have seen it many times, but this is our focus here is to positively impact the lives of our students, families, and staff by empowering and supporting them with inclusive community advocacy, equitable leadership, and communication. So with all that being said, I would like to hand it over to Priscilla, who is our VP of Outreach and Engagement, to share with everybody some of our updates.
Hi, everyone. I am, as Rebecca just said, VP of Outreach this year. So you'll see me kind of wearing a few hats on campus. One of them is trying to recruit and get parents involved and the community involved and joining our PTA. So if you haven't formally officially like signed up yet, please take a moment to sign up for the PTA. There's also a link on the agenda that was sent out, and we'll try to link the agenda on here too if we can. And let's see here. And then our goal is to have 200 active PTA members. Right now we have 134, which is great. So I think, over the course of maybe the next few months, we might get closer to that goal. So keep them coming. And if you know any other parents that are interested, please, spread the word as well. And also,
Okay.
Rebecca, I don't know if you want to maybe mute everyone. I don't know if you'll let me speak still. And then also, if you haven't had the opportunity yet, we do ask that, the families that are able to take a look at making a direct donation for our PTA. And if you are not able to donate financially, of course, donating your time is great as well. And some families donate as little as, $25 and some as big as, $300 to $1,000 per family, not per student. So, whatever you can give, we appreciate, and that'll help us get to our goal for this year. And I'll hand it back over to Rebecca.
You put away your shoes. I'm looking on my map now. Mommy. They got Jackson.
Rebecca, you're muted.
Now I'm unmuted. Thank you. Okay. This is our time for our principal update and teacher update. So Karen, please take it away.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Karen, the principal. We're really just in terms of updates from me, we're just kicking off the year still. So just getting sort of things up and running. I think, a big push that we would ask for families, we're grateful for all that you do. And I think registering to be a volunteer, that was what Miss Noel wants me to make sure I impress upon folks as much as possible. So there's a new system for volunteers in the district. So even if you've volunteered with us in the past, we've pushed it out on Parent Square, the online Arbiter volunteer registration. So that's a new shift for this year. So we're definitely asking families if you're interested and able to volunteer, so please register with the district. Starting September 15th through October 15th is Latinx Heritage Month. And so we're excited to work to celebrate that in different ways. I'm going to be sending out messaging to our Latinx identifying families to see if they or their students want to sort of share a bit about their culture during morning announcements on Friday during that Heritage Month. And actually, next Friday, and I know Rebecca might also share this, but next Friday is the Latin Affinity Group Coffee, and Miss Rosie's daughter is going to be dancing at that. So we're excited to have that sort of cultural heritage to share. And that was Rebecca and Rosie worked on that together. So thank you for that. Another thing, actually, yesterday, an Olympic medalist visited Miss Jackson's class. So she's actually the captain of the Olympic women's swim team. So she visited Miss Jackson's class, and she's won 3 gold medals and a total of 10 medals over 3 Olympics. And we're working to see if we can set up a time for her to come talk to the whole school. So we're excited about that. And then I think one other shift or change at Milan this year that we're excited about is building in time for teachers to collaborate with Miss Moore in a more meaningful way. And so we've just built in different structures into the day where Miss Moore and teachers can collaborate about how to integrate art more meaningfully. I think for the past few years, I think especially coming out of COVID, me being new last year, it was more like kids go to art and there wasn't as much integration. So we're working on that. And Miss Moore is talking about space across K-5 and sort of the influence of that. So like thinking about personal space or thinking about, today I was in art during the 2nd grade class, and they were reading a book that sort of talked all about different prepositions. And so then students went and created, using like, oh, what if I put this above or below, or what does the color look like? So I think we're excited to have a bit more of a through line with art this year and to have opportunities for teachers to think more deeply about how they'll integrate art into their practice. So those are all of my updates.
Thank you, Karen. And then I think I saw Miss Roberts.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi. Okay.
Hi, I'm Emily Roberts. I teach first grade this year, and I'm also the mom of a fifth grader. So what I do is I come to the meetings. Mr. Gerhards will come to some of them and just give a little update about what classes or grade levels are working on. And I also try and encourage teachers if there's things they need or are looking for, especially beyond financial support, to let me know so that I can help facilitate that. So kindergarten is learning about school and thinking about the question, how do we make school a great place for everyone? And that's part of the new social studies adoption, which is great. We early piloted it last year, and it's a great curriculum. And then Miss Eichel specifically said her kids are really into marble runs. So if anybody has an old marble run at home and they want to bring it, you can feel free to bring it to her. And then in Miss Levy's class, they're doing a lot of social emotional themed read alouds and learning about how they want to be together in room 3 and then finding interesting vocabulary along the way. In all of first grade, we're exploring our first FOSS unit on air and weather. And then my class started reading buddies this week, which was great. Second grade is working on solidifying routines and becoming more efficient. Third grade is, Miss Jackson said we're starting our social studies unit on global connections, writing personal narratives, and learning about the connection between multiplication and division. And then she mentioned having Olympic gold medal swimmer Abby Weitzel join their class this week. And the kids got to check out the medals, and that she's hoping to plan an assembly for the school. And Miss Y's class are working on global connections and social studies, foundations of multiplication and division, and reading nonfiction articles and learning some routines around those. And then in fourth grade, they are working on constructing characters, which they'll use to develop quick writes, zooming in on attributes they created for that character, and a science unit on the human body. And then another fourth grade class is studying the brain and the human body and thinking about the idea of borders as it relates to zooming in and out of power structures and systems. And room 22 is electric. We're exploring electricity with fun hands-on activities and are pumped about the art through line. What is space? In fifth grade, they've been working on art, including Modigliani inspired portraits, and practicing color theory with a color wheel and doing a deep dive into place value and multi-digit multiplication and character development and literature. In Mr. Kelly's fifth grade, they're doing a read aloud of the book Wonder. They're diving into place value, government structures and social studies, and the web of life, and they're getting ready for fifth grade science camp, which is next week. And then Miss Ringwald kind of touched on this, but Miss Moore has a through line for the year of space. And so thinking about how artists use space. And so that's been the jumping off point for us to all. We've had time to collaborate with her and then find connections. So first grade, it very much connects with our study of air and weather. So we talked to her, and she's going to do some lessons around horizon and how we use space and connecting it to the things that we're doing in our classroom. In music, they're getting to know you games, singing, body percussion, and movement. PE is working on class routines, playground games, rules, and safety with the K3s, and starting a football unit with the fourth and fifth graders. Miss Klein, who's our instructional coach, said she's working on a grant for headphones. I think she got it. Yeah, she just said she got a grant for $2,000 for headphones for one of the programs we use with our English language learners. And she's compiling a book list for toolbox book sets that can be given to classroom teachers. And then Miss Wendy, who's doing reading intervention, she's working to ensure that all of our first through fifth grade students have a solid base in phonics and sight words so they can access curriculum and become strong readers. And then she has some wonderings about, and this could be another topic, but maybe some professional development for her to specifically get trained in some Orton Gillingham, which is a program. Something that came up in terms of asks, Mr. Gerhards would like to know if there's any makers with experience using electricity. And a couple people brought up whole school or, broken into grade level assemblies. And I think we haven't had that in a while. I think it kind of dropped off with COVID, and then it's just one of the pieces that hasn't picked up. So I had a wondering around maybe a PTA point person, or Karen and I can talk more about it, but just to help organize assemblies and having folks coming in. Because sometimes it's more cost effective than us leaving. And then another wondering I had was just if there is a place where teachers can have all in one place, like any of their like wish lists, and because sometimes we have book wish lists or Amazon wish lists and donors choose grants and things like that. I think it exists, but I don't know the best way. Like people just kind of email me their things sometimes and I'm not sure where to put them. So just clarity around that. Yep, assemblies and yeah, assemblies. So I think people are interested in assemblies. And that is all.
Thank you, Emily. And I think we can connect about some of the wish lists and all those things too. So if you're okay with being awesome, okay, we will get all that stuff handled. So thank you. Okay, so now for our proposed budget discussion. So I'm going to hand this over, and Michael, allow you, I'm going to stop sharing so that you can share the budget, which we posted again on the 2nd, but just to kind of go through the items and to get some supportive conversations too with Karen regarding some of those pieces too. So I'll hand it over to Michael. Let me know if you can't share. I think I got you.
Okay, I was muted. Hello, hi, I'm Michael Mamrell. I'm the new treasurer this year. The new budget is, I hope everyone has had the chance to take a look at it. It was shared like 10 days ago or so. There have been a couple of slight modifications, and I'll speak to those for those who have possibly looked at the budget before last night. So yeah, I don't know what's the best thing to do is probably to go line by line. So if anyone wants to just click on the link in the agenda, or I can actually just share it also in the chat here. Just
You want me to share it, Mike? Let me try to grab it too.
Oh no, I can share it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just
And yes, Jamie Martinez is our PTA secretary. She takes notes at every meeting, and also, as I'm sure we're all aware, sends all our updates. So thank you, Jamie. Okay, and there, thank you. The link is in there if anyone wants to open it.
watching the numbers go up.
Nice.
Yeah, the general theme of this budget is raise more money so we can do more and spend more money. And so in previous years, likely because of the pandemic, we have built up a pretty healthy carryover amount, and all attempts so far to spend it down, because we're technically supposed to spend it, like what comes in during the year is supposed to be spent that year. So this year we have added a number of brand new enrichment programs, in addition to some new fundraising programs that Cheryl will be speaking to later. Okay, but I'm just going to go through this. So I'm going to go by each line. So in the right.
Can we share? Sorry, can we share it on the Zoom?
Yeah.
Since we're capturing video.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah. You can see all of my other tabs as well. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, can you see my screen, and is it large enough? Should I zoom in?
If you could zoom in maybe a little bit, yeah, it's a little tiny.
A little bit more.
I don't know. Does anyone else need it zoomed in more?
Maybe 2 more clicks, please, and thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, let me see. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Does it work for everyone? Cool. All right. Okay. So on the right side, it's kind of like the explanation of it. But we are looking to increase donations by $5,000. I don't think that it's out of reach. I think it's very much in reach. I think in previous years we have kind of set a lower bar, but we're looking to really raise that bar. So just regular donations through matching or recurring donations that come in through like PayPal. I see a number of them, thanks to all the families who are doing that already. And anything you're able to contribute helps. So that's the first one. The second one is membership dues with Totem that was spoken to earlier. I think we've already actually reached our goal for this year. And so with the additional desired goal of 200 PTA members, we should be able to pull in much more than what we wanted. Donation fees. So part of this is like expenses. There's no change from last year. I don't think any of the services that the PTA uses or pays has changed, and so we have not adjusted that budget. Yeah. And then we've increased the expense of PTA operating expenses. Just things are just more expensive now at this time. Some of the goals are an additional use is to spend for submitting. Every year we have to submit taxes as a group, and so that's one of the additional expenses there. But that's an additional probably $1,000 or so, along with other expenses there. And if anyone has any questions or comments or anything along the way, just let me know. All right, the next one. So, what I've done is I've removed most of the things that I've removed, but I just wanted to call out that this year we will not have any A's games because of John Fisher's decision to move to Las Vegas. And so just want to acknowledge all of the previous years that we've done this. And it hasn't really ever brought a lot of money, but it's brought a lot of memories to the school. And so I wanted to call that out there. All right. The book sync. Yeah, so we expecting like a 400, we budgeted for a 400% increase of revenue for book sync. And this is really like based off of the success of last year. So our hope is to be able to bring in a net of $2,250 through the book sync programs that we have been working with them with.
Yeah, I think historically, Michael, just to chime in, we've only had one event per year. So we're going to hope to have one in the fall and one in the springtime. So that's why we felt comfortable doubling that.
Yeah, and I think even on just the one that we had last year, I think it was already like triple what we had
Nice.
what budgeted. So yeah. Jogathon. Okay. Yeah, Jogathon is Mylan's biggest fundraiser, and so we've set to increase like 15,000. It's 20% increase from what we budgeted for last year. But in fact, we actually got this last year, and so we're hoping that the families are really reach out to friends, family to contribute to Jogathon, because this is like the biggest piece of fundraising at Mylan. And then here, so these here, the next four are new fundraisers led by Cheryl. She'll be speaking to it later, but also there's a lot of excitement about these new fundraisers, and so on the initial the PTA meeting. I think it was like last week or a couple weeks ago. People have expressed that they want to participate, and so we're very thankful for all of the parents who are stepping up to start bringing this in for us. So it's a readathon program, yearbook, in-person auction, and then various host of fundraisers at local businesses. Passive fundraising is just somebody just thinks, hey, I'm going to donate to the school, and so we hope to increase this and by 400% also. I think our goals previously was only 500, so 2,500 for this year. I think it'd just be with the push and these reminders that the PTA funding, helps to provide enrichment for our students, our children, really. The next one is a spiritware. So actually, like in this one, the net of this is $1,000. And in previous years, we would buy this spiritware, and then we would hold on to it, and then we would sell it eventually, right? And we'd recoup our money. Most of the spiritware has moved online through a partnership with All Good Living. So people will scan and purchase the shirt or hoodie or something, and those shirts, those goods are made on demand. And there's a small markup on there. It's really just so that people, students and family members are wearing Mylan gear, really. This year we've increased it to the expense to $2,000. We want to open up the opportunities for purchasing like different goods and to have them on display. You may have seen the racks that are at the coffee shop, at the Affinity Coffees. And so we want to bring in new goods. It really brings an engagement. That's kind of how I started at Mylan, which was because I really just wanted a hoodie. And so seeing that there were no hoodies, I became involved in getting that going. So we want to restart that because it's the community building aspect of merchandise. Maybe I'll go a little faster. So yeah, the summer movie tickets, 1,000. It's given the movie theater is given to us for free, and so all of the profits are ours. And so we're budgeting for $1,000 in revenue. I'm going to take a moment to breathe. Does anyone have any questions or anything? Nope. All right.
Michael,
Yes.
it's Jennifer.
Jen.
Just to give you a break from talking,
Thanks.
I want to jump in and give a huge kudos to Michael for pulling all this together. I should have been able to help this week and I wasn't. And so he got training with Laura, and Laura put a bunch of documents together as well. And I don't know if she's on tonight, but I just want to chime in to say this is an incredible amount of work that he pulled together and summarized all these things and put this in an easy to read format for the meeting, because the systems that all of this information go into are not straightforward and they're confusing. So thank you, Michael. Huge, huge thanks to you.
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of this new style here is Laura Karin. So she really set us up for a good year and for a good next year. And so hopefully after we're done with our tenure, the next set will have an easier time, So okay, thank you. Yeah, so the next thing, so these are non-revenue programs and events. So this year we'll contribute $6,000 to the 5th grade science camp. It's up 50% from 4,000, primarily because They used to use regular school buses, but we're getting charter buses and they're more expensive. So, so there's that. Donating 1,500, where 1,500 is slated for fifth grade promotion. There's no change from last year. Field day is $2,000, no change from last year as well. The Harvest Hunt, we raised this by $500, so 100% increase. But you know that's a really big event, and you're only using like $500. And so what the decision as a group was to increase it to see how they may be able to enhance the experience for children, because they already do a lot with so little. But yeah, we upped it to 1,000. Principal's coffee is $750. That doesn't change from last year. We increased the PTA community events, and so like different groups have used funds from here. So last year, the families for the IEP, families with IEP, students with IEPs, had speaker come on site. That we had to pay for that speaker to come. Also, the Asian Affinity Group bought goods for the Lunar New Year as well. So these are the type of community events that we want. There are a couple of new communities that have interesting coming up. I think like a dad's community group, which is pretty cool. And so we want to support the community, just making the experience better. So we've increased it from 1,000 to 2,000. So the safety committee, who does a lot already, so 1,500 there. Social justice equity committee, we reduced it from last year's 2,500. It's down to 1,250. But 1,250 is what was spent last year, and it had been spent in previous years. So we adjusted based on the historic spending, but and so that's the reason for that. Arts and Culture Fest, we're 6,000 for that. Staff teacher appreciation, 5,000. That hasn't changed either. And then the welcome events, it's up $200. I think it's just because everything's more expensive now. We make sure we're good on time. Okay. Yeah, the Alameda Music Project. So last year we actually the contribution to the Alameda Music Project was $15,500. But there's a change with the kindergartners now ending school at 250. So that time period, which in the past on Wednesdays was covered by which was covered by the team over at Bay Area Music Project, is now just part of the regular day. Also, the ELOP grant also is covering a lot of what they need, and so their request. So 7,500 is what is needed for this year. So that's really good. The field trips for each grade hasn't changed, 3,000 for each grade. So we look forward to the use of that. We continue to cover fingerprinting for volunteers if the expense is needs to be paid there. The garden and beautification team has done a lot of work. This year, we reduced it by $2,250. I think a lot of work was done last year, so that not as much is needed this year. We have 13,500 for the health clerk, front office, FT, full-time employee. 12,000 for the integrated learning and professional development there. And so they have a couple of new ones here. It's not really new. So the reading intervention last year was paid by last year the reading intervention was paid by extra funds that were found at the district, and so it didn't come out of the like really official PTA budget. But this year's the last year is slated for this. The ill effects of the pandemic have I guess reduced. I'm not sure the best way to put it, but yeah, with children in school, the issues that were experienced because of the pandemic have greatly reduced, and so this is the last year where we have slated for this. We have a behavioral response professional. We're putting $20,000 in so that we can get a halftime hire, I believe. And a garden coordinator, someone who'll be able to come in and make the garden, teach us how to use the garden and for us to be able to sustain it well by ourselves. So we're doing 5,000 there. We have a comm zone spending. Yeah, it's 250, and so it's 500 net increase. Oh, it was 1,000 last year. So we reduced that. There's media center for 4,500. Principal's office grant for 2,500, and school supplies in general 8,000. We separated this line item here. School supplies for art is for Ms. Moore, 2,000. We've taken the teacher grant that was for her and contributed toward this. Science fair 500. The student leadership 250. Wasn't spent last year, but we're still putting it there. So hopefully we'll have the students make use of it for this year. We have subscriptions, which is reduced by 3,000 because last year we paid for the mystery science, and that was a 3-year subscription, so we don't have to pay it this year. We have teacher grants, 550 each, and that's it. So in the fifth, actually the last line item that has value here is the 5th grade camp. So last year, there were additional contributions to the science camp in the total of $8,893.06. And so that is earmarked for subscriptions for this year's science camp. That's it. Anyone have any questions?
Michael, I'll have the final numbers for the parent contributions for science camp like next week after science camp actually departs and we know like who actually made it on that trip.
Mhm.
And I'll get those numbers to you too. And I know that Camp Campbell will invoice us, I think, end of September or October, beginning of October, so that you can fill in all those TBDs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think somebody explained that line item to me at some point that that's really kind of a pass-through number, right? Like the money that's raised for the purpose of science camp, it kind of comes through the PTA's budget, but it all gets spent on the science camp. So
It's like, yeah,
it's a wash
PTA
either
is
way.
like, it's like a bank holding the money for science camp and it just kind of carries over like year to year. Yeah.
And Jamie, so the fundraising that we're doing here, like in this budget, is for the next year, right? So they just as a call out. So like this money will go toward, no, Michael?
Oh, I'm just scratching.
Oh, sorry. I was like, yeah. So that's my understanding is like that where we're going to focus, like all the kids that are going, speaking of what you're saying, Jamie, is some families may ask for that coverage, but
Yeah.
so that
So
everyone-
the ask actually, I have to talk, I guess, with you guys off in a separate meeting too about science camp, but Eric and I went back and forth a lot last year about science camp budget, like being year specific. Because so the 8,893 is what was raised and is available for tuition for scholarships, but we have more kids going this year and more people that asked for financial aid. So our actual ask right now is standing at 10,070. That may shift in the next 5 days between now and science camp. So I don't really know, but I feel like then the fundraising that's like the beginning fundraising that's done this year can maybe offset that, but also replenish the fund for the following year. But I think we just need to increase our goals across the board for science camp with that knowledge that life is more expensive, more people are asking for financial aid. And yeah,
And Jamie, the cost for science camp per student is how much?
400.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know, the messaging that goes out is pay what you can, ask for a scholarship if you can. Some people paid half, some people paid a little bit, some people asked for a full scholarship. So people really did pay what they could, but last year I think the scholarship asks were around 6,000 and this year it's 10,000. There are, I think, 10 more kids going this year than last year, so that also offsets it. But yeah, so that was a little bit of an unexpected expected surprise. So I don't really know.
The cost go up this year? Was it less last year? Am I remembering that
It was,
right?
I think it was like, oh, sorry, my children are home. 350 to 375 last year.
Okay.
So it went up a little bit, but not a huge amount.
So we could expect it to go up next year as well. Okay.
Yeah. And the bus amounts went up also between, you know, the year. I think Michael touched on that too, but
Yeah.
Noelle was able to like talk down the bus cost this year. I don't know if she'll have that luck next year also, but everything's just more expensive.
Yeah, there were like two things that happened this year. I think it's just the type of bus. Imagine riding down to Santa Cruz in a school bus. That would suck. And then so we're in charter buses now. And then Noah was able to to get a cheaper rate for this year, but
Yeah.
like you said, we might not be able to get that rate again in the future or as deep a cut. So
Yeah, they had quoted like I think 5,200 and she got it down to like 4,800. So
yeah, 48.
through some magic. Oh, Jesse says hi.
Yeah, just
Why that?
It's chocolate milkshake day. He brought me a chocolate milkshake.
No.
I want one.
Oh, home deliveries, DoorDash. Yeah. But yeah, we'll have all the final numbers next week. I mean, I'm not hoping that anyone doesn't go on the trip, but life happens, people get sick, so we'll have like more final numbers after next Tuesday.
Okay. So Jamie, looking at the budget, the way we have it proposed for fundraising, I know you kind of had maybe shared offline that, is there any suggestions in terms of adjusting what we have noted in the budget right now?
I mean, I don't know the full history, but I know that in past years, it's kind of gone back and forth between whether the PTA contribution was to cover the buses or was it to cover tuition. It sounds like after this year, the 6,000 isn't enough to cover either one of those pieces wholly. But it is a hefty contribution towards this trip that, I mean, frankly, is optional, but it's a huge experience for the fifth graders. So I think it's a big part of the culture. I wouldn't necessarily say we need to increase the contribution in the budget, but I do think maybe just adding another fundraiser in. We have a lot of fundraisers that are earmarked as science camp fundraisers, like all the movie nights, the
Right.
AMP food sales, the Astronaut food sale. We didn't do a food sale last year at Science Art and Maker Fair. We probably should have because that would have netted another 1,000 to 1,500. But we were burnt out and we thought we were like at our goal and
No, we'll buffet style it. We'll do it. I know that my kids were hungry afterwards, so we'll bring food.
so
Well, I think that's
yeah, we have like you know, there's other things we did, like we did a subpar night, and that took in like $1,000. So there's other ways to offset that. I just like I foresee it being something that will like continue to grow, like that lapse between how much is brought in and like how much is actually needed. Yeah.
Cheryl, did you have thoughts on that too?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a good topic for discussion. I don't know if it's the next board meeting or another PTA meeting that like should we consider because the fourth grade parents for the people who are raising funds for their fifth graders for next year, like they do extensive fundraising. And I just think with the number keep going up and like we're doing more and more fundraising as a community, like maybe we should think about like how do we just loop that into the budget and then make sure that a certain portion is allocated from the budget and then like all of the fundraising efforts are just holistic, like it's not necessarily all on those parents. So we should probably weigh the pros and cons of that, I think.
And I think there's value to that too, because, and I think Josh's on here, Emily, we can speak to the fact that like it was pretty much the same group of fourth grade parents doing all the fundraisers. And people are busy and, it's like not everyone has the availability to like, organize these fundraisers. So if it is more of a like community-wide thing and we just know like this portion is going to this, there's also additional fundraising, but it's like more of a community thing that the Milan community as a whole will benefit from, because eventually every kid's going to be a fifth grader and get to go on this trip. So versus like making it more of like this is on you fourth grade families and it's only for science camp. We can talk about it more, but Erica and I like spent so much time talking about it last year and I feel like there's no easy answer, but it is something to talk about.
Emily, do you historically, do you have any thoughts on it, and you have kiddos in this too?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I do think so. One of the pros for doing that way is sometimes there is benefit to being like, you're raising money right now for this one thing, like, because that speaks to, they're like, oh, this is where my money goes. But I agree. It's a lot of work.
Thank you. Okay. And then any other questions or thoughts? So it sounds like right now, Jamie, you feel comfortable with the way it is, with all the history and the work that you've been doing with the way that we have it outlined in the budget.
Yeah, with the caveat of like we're short for this year, so we're gonna have to kind of
fundraise. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's probably an action item that like when we see the final numbers, if there is a shortfall, we need to adjust the budget and maybe increase fundraising goals somewhere in there to balance it again.
Yeah, and I will say there is a existing science camp GoFundMe, and we didn't use it at all. Just because we were doing so much fundraising, we're like, oh, we didn't really feel like we needed to kind of put that out there like on Peeps or whatever. But there's always that. Community is happy to contribute, it seems, to things like this for STEM experiences for kids, but I don't know if we want to go that route. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And then Alyssa made a comment here. You could also assign running fundraisers by grade level. So each grade level has to pull volunteers to run a drive, which is kind of interesting too. So, okay. If anyone else has any comments on that, then I think we'll keep going. And then I see Lena, I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, but you had a question about the Racial Justice and Equity Fund. How did we spend that last year, or what do we usually spend these funds on? Curious about our intentionality around this, which is a fantastic question. My understanding last year, there wasn't a lead in that position. And this year we have Raina, who has stepped up, and I've been coordinating with her, talking about how to kind of be intentional with that. So Lena, if you're interested in connecting, I can connect you with Raina too. She was at the Welcome Zoom last week and introduced herself and shared like her background as a music teacher. And so she's those are her thoughts around that. So if I'm happy to connect you there. Raina is Raina here? Raina Keaton. Yeah, Keaton's mom. Thank you, Jennifer. So yeah, so we didn't really, the funds were earmarked, but they weren't.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. I know Rena.
Oh, perfect.
So I can reach out to her. Thank you so
Good.
much.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, excellent. And then did anyone else have any thoughts, or as we looked at the budget, I know we'll go through the formal motions of doing it, but just before we kind of keep going, any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Karen, did we outline everything correctly? Is there anything you wanted to like call out from, or you're good? Okay, fantastic. Okay. Give everyone a moment. Okay.
You want me to reshare the screen?
Yeah. If everyone's okay, we can keep going, and we have the link in there. Does anyone want to see the budget again? No? Okay. And then Emily just shared, I think the advantages of a GoFundMe or similar crowdfunding is that we can tap into donors beyond our immediate school community. Yes, agreed. Okay. And I don't know, Cheryl, we didn't formally introduce you, but Cheryl, you're our VP of funding.
Right.
Yes, you'll share some more information on how we're going to focus on fundraising those things. So I will go ahead and proceed with our agenda so we can kind of move forward with some of the things that we've been talking about. So let me see if I can get back to where I was. Maybe. Nope, hold on. Too many things open. Let me go back here. So our agenda. Here we go. Okay, one moment. Okay, let's share again. There we go. Okay, so just some of you have been in PT meetings before. This was all new to me last year, so I just wanted to kind of share for those of you that this is new to as well. During these meetings, when we go, we have to formalize some of these processes, some of the concepts that we do. So like we're going to go through a portion of going through motion. So basically what a motion is we will make a motion to basically make a decision and take action. This entire process is to allow all of us, for everyone here to have a voice and to be heard as a group so that we make these decisions in a fair manner and in an organized way. So we will propose a motion, then someone in the group will second it. We will have the opportunity for discussion. If there's no discussion, then we'll move into the voting process. So right now we're in Zoom, so I will ask everyone to please go into the reaction button in Zoom and select a green check mark if it's a yes, and that way we can count the votes. And then we'll give the opportunity for anyone who wants to vote no, and then that can be just like an X mark within the reactions, and then we'll count the votes there, and then identify if it's a pass or fail. So I just wanted to explain that process. And then I'll move into the things that our next steps of motions on the table. So the first thing that we have is not actually a motion, it's an approval. So on the minutes, which were the notes from the PTA meeting on May 2nd, 2024 were distributed and posted. So they were posted there. If anyone's had the opportunity to look at them or has any questions, you can click on the link. They're right there. And then my question for the group is, are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, I'll give it a second for everyone to kind of take a peek. And these are all the lovely notes that Jamie takes for us. If there are no corrections to the minutes, then I will move forward with approving as presented. And there's no motion needed for this. Okay. Now I'm going to move into all the other motions I'm going to do. So I'm going to get my little script out. One moment, please. Oh, Josh is, we have another participant. Okay. Give Josh a second. Okay, so for our first item, which requires a motion, do I hear a motion to adopt the 2024-2025 Myelin PTA budget?
I motion to adopt the 2024-2025 Myelin PTA budget.
Thank you, Ainomi. Is there a second?
I second.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Cheryl and Priscilla. Okay, so the motion has been made and seconded. Are there any discussions? So this is an opportunity for anyone to share discussions, questions, concerns about the budget that we just proposed. Lovely. Okay, people are voting. If there are no further comments, we will now proceed to vote. So please, as I asked before, if you can please select the green check in the reaction section for a yes vote. And we need 16 yeses to pass.
Well, we just need a majority. We don't need 16 yeses.
Oh, sorry. The majority.
We need 16 people to be here, and then
Thank you, Marine. Okay, Marine is our parliamentarian and is the all-knower of all the things. Thank you, Marine. Okay, so we don't need majority. Okay, thank you. So lots of wonderful yeses, so that feels nice. Thank you. Okay, and then we'll get the opportunity for no's. So if everyone can take off their checks, please and thank you. And then if anyone would like to vote no, please do so. Okay, and then it looks like the motion passes. So we've passed the budget. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Hold on. Okay, and then for our second item is, do I hear a motion to release the 2024-2025 funds?
I motion to release the 2024-2025 funds.
Thank you, Ainomi. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Diane. And the motion has been made to second. Is there any discussion? So the release basically means that we can start, writing checks for all the things that we've identified. Okay. Any discussion? Okay, I will give the opportunity for everyone to vote. So if there's no further comments, if you can please vote with the green check mark in your Zoom reactions. Thank you. Fantastic. And then I will give the opportunity for anyone who would like to vote no with a red X. Please and thank you. Okay, I believe the motion passes. Thank you, everybody. For our third item that requires a motion, do I hear a motion to ratify the checks 3,042 to 3,005?
I motion to ratify the checks 3,042 to 3,105.
Thank you. And what that is, in our agenda, we have checks. Let me go to that one moment. So ratifying the checks in the PTA is when a membership approves the actions of the PTA Executive Board. This is done in an acknowledgement that the funds were spent as previously decided. So in our agenda for today, we posted that at the very bottom. Sorry, one moment. Let's see here. So there, I'm going to show the checks for a moment. Okay, so these are the checks that are at the bottom of this agenda for tonight. So thank you for seconding the motion. I just wanted to show everyone what they are as we discuss this. The TG stands for teacher grants. Okay, there's the checks there for May 2024. There are the following checks here. Teach a lot of the teacher grants, Art Fest, all the lovely things, and then we have June. Okay. So Ainomi, you seconded it. Is there any discussion? Thank you for seconding it. Is there any discussion regarding that? Okay, so we will go ahead and take a vote, please, to ratify those checks. Thank you, everybody, for voting. And then is there any no votes? Okay, I think we're good. Fantastic. Okay, so then our fourth item that requires a motion. Do I hear a motion to ratify Marine Krusselbrink as a financial review committee?
I motion to ratify Marine Krusselbrink as the financial review committee.
Thank you, Ainomi. Is there a second?
I second that.
Thank you, Jennifer. And then Jennifer, do you mind explaining a little bit what that means? Or are you familiar with it? I think you are. You were in the...
It was actually Priscilla that seconded it.
sorry, Priscilla.
However, we do need a committee to review and basically audit, and Marine volunteered to do that. And I think it cannot be approved check signers, correct? Yes.
And the approved check signers are Ainomi, Michael, and myself.
So it has to be members other than those that are signing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, so we have to make that official. So that's the explanation. So thank you for the second, Priscilla. Is there any discussion regarding the topic? Okay, if there's no further comments or discussion, we'll proceed with the vote. If you can please select a green mark to vote yes for Marine's. Thank you, Marine, for offering to do that again for the second year in a row. Okay, great. And then I'll give the opportunity for any no votes. Okay, fantastic. The motion passes. We did them all. Hooray. Okay, great. That was the business of the evening. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Okay, so we got through all of those wonderful things that we needed to do. Now for the fun stuff. Cheryl, if you wanted to share upcoming events with everybody.
Sure. I guess I should introduce myself as the VP of Funding, and then I'm also co-chairing with Polly the Go Green team. So we're just kind of getting that started and going again at Maya Lin. But we do have one event, and if maybe I'll just share the agenda really quick, unless you have it.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. You all see that okay?
Yes.
All right. So we do have a potential Go Green event in partnership with Ridwell. They make it super easy for us to recycle plastic film, so like bags or packaging, as long as it's not tainted with food. But for the month of October, we can have bins around school and encourage people to use those, not for garbage and waste, but for recycling plastics. So if you click on the link, there's a little bit more information. There's also good sort of collateral that we could promote around, how to responsibly dispose of different kinds of waste. So I think it would be a really fun thing to do, and we haven't quite registered yet, but I just wanted to mention it here, and then we'll share out more information. But if there's any volunteers that are passionate about this and might want to take this on, I don't know that there's a lot to do other than maybe be the point person with Ridwell and kind of organize us a bit. So, but please just let Rebecca or I know if you are interested in that. Let's see. Moving on to more fundraising kinds of things. I put a link in a lot of the different fundraising efforts and kind of where we are as far as status on those. And we're kind of just getting a lot of them started, except for the Monster Dash, which I'll let Alyssa give the update on. But overall, we're trying to do a lot more different fundraising activities. I think we mentioned in a previous meeting, and Michael mentioned it earlier, we're trying to raise a lot more money than we ever have as a community, as I understand it. So our goal is 150K for the year. We're definitely trying to fund a more active community. It seems like there's a lot of engagement right now, a lot more events that we want to do, a lot more training that we want to provide and support we want to provide for the teachers and the administrators at school. And really, we don't have that carryover budget that we had in COVID times anymore. So we're kind of trying to make up for that and keep the balance in the budget in balance. And so, we're going to try to earn more through these different events. I think in the past, we put all our weight behind Monster Dash, and that's going to be probably our biggest fundraiser. And so we're definitely going to do that with all, but we're going to try to supplement it with as many things throughout the year as we can that are probably, I'm going to focus on, most bang for the buck, for as far as where can we put some energy behind and try to just, see where else we can raise funds for the community and for the PTA. Let's see. So maybe I'll click on that. And then I'll mention that there is a tab in this document too, that if anything here excites you, you want to be part of this. I do have a tab where I'm just trying to build committees of people who might be interested in the different areas. And I love that people are already starting to sign up. So thank you so much for that. But if you have time and we can circulate this and it's in the agenda, if there's anything that excites you here, please do sign up because we're going to need some help. Passive fundraisers is, yes.
Oh, sorry, Cheryl. And just to add on to that, I also have a list. I'm responding to parents that are submitting that lend a paw form. So I do
Awesome.
have a separate list of volunteers that have expressed interest in some
Oh,
of these
good. We can
specific
cross-reference
acts. Yeah,
that.
so maybe, yeah, I can add on to that if someone wants to reach out to them, whoever the point people are on those events.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Right now, a lot of these are just ideas and they need point people to, get it going, or I can be that point person until we get it going more and we can find more volunteers. Passive fundraising, you've probably seen some information about. It's on the PTA website. It was in the welcome packet. And then also at any of the principal coffees and other things, we've had some collateral up. So these are just different ways that we earn money for Myelin. So I kind of have a whole list of those, like the ones we have started. So they're on the website, and there's a few more that we're going to probably get up there sooner than later. So those are ongoing. Direct donation campaign. I think that Priscilla and the team have done an amazing job already, like going about, making sure that that donate now link is everywhere. But one thing that I wanted to do is around, starting now and maybe through November, start to build out some comms and content so that people can easily know how to donate. There's an emphasis, we can put more emphasis on some of the corporate matching that happens this time of year. A lot of that goes for education. And I know that those campaigns kind of kick up now through November. So if we can just, build a little bit more awareness of that, this is how you donate with that kind of intent, as well as making sure that everybody has the tax ID numbers to do really good tax donations. I think that this will be a really easy lift and just get the word out there a bit more about how to donate directly. Monster Dash, I don't know if Alyssa is still on, but if she wants to give an update on Monster Dash, it'd be a great time.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So Monster Dash I think it's a lot of fun. And it's the one time where the kids get to go off campus to Washington Park and they get to run around. They get a participation shirt. Sorry, I have to see. And so basically, I have already secured the park. We've secured the date. With the new online volunteer AUSD process, it takes about 10 days to get approved. This is considered a walking field trip. So level 2 volunteers will be required for anything volunteering on the Sign Up Genius that will go out. The ask will go out about 2 weeks before the event, 2 or 3 weeks before the event, of what you can fill up and need. At that time, we'll also release a schedule of what classes are going to run during what times, so you can volunteer and participate while your student is actually running in the event. We need a lot of volunteers to set up, tear down, to operate it. However, if for whatever reason you can't do the online process, or you don't have that much time, or you're not sure about your time, you can show up at the park to watch your students run. However, you're not allowed to walk to the park with them, and you're not allowed to gather amongst the kids at the recovery tables or the warm-up zone. You just kind of keep your distance and cheer them on as they go around the park. That's our ask. Just to let you know, regarding the volunteer process, there's a whole tuberculosis thing. It's a form. If you haven't traveled to these countries, you click no, 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 and you can email Kaiser or email your physician, and they basically just sign it off, and then you're good. You just upload that to the system. So it seems like a really daunting task. You don't always have to get a TB test. You can, there's an assessment that you may be able to just slide in through the cracks if you don't meet these if you answer no to all the questions. And yeah, so volunteer level 2, the forms will go out, or the request will go out 2 to 3 weeks before. The schedule for the jogathon will go out 2 to 3 weeks before. And I guess our goal, I thought it was $90,000. It's $95,000. Last year we raised, I think, the online pledge star said like 99, but sometimes all the funds don't come in, or they might get put in the different spots by accident. So I think that they recorded it as like $95,000. So our goal was, I think, like 80,000, or 70,000. So we kill it every year. The way we do it is we're not asking for each kid to raise, I mean, it's kind of ideal, like if each kid raises an X amount of dollars, that's awesome, but there's no contest or incentive for the kids to raise money. The incentive is for them to send out the Pledge Star page and share it 10 or more times per student, because you know, in life, you fail, and then all of a sudden you succeed. So you might ask like one or two people, they might say no, but then there'll be one or two that say yes. So the odds are, if you send it out 10 times per person, we're gonna hit the goal. So that's the ask, that's what we focus on. And we are hammering out the details on the grand prize. Last year we did a movie matinee at the Alameda Theater with the school. It was really fun. We're aiming for that again. We won't know if it's approved or not, so we might have to bob and weave on the grand prize, but for the classes, by grade level, instead of by individual class or individuals, by grade level, if they send out X amount of emails, then they'll win a popsicle party at lunch. And we do that, and the kids all eat popsicles on the field, and you know, it's kind of a nice end of summer because we have some really great weather in California. What else? I have a t-shirt design. I've already secured what color t-shirt and the quantities, and they're en route. So that's already done. Park permit's already done. There is a change. Cliff Bar is no longer donating the the snack bars, but it's okay. It's okay. Kids will live on cuties and bananas. That was a bonus. That was a plus. That was like the cherry and the whipped cream on top. But they'll live on, they'll be fine with Recovery Zone banana or cutie and some water. And yeah, sometimes less is just fine. It's, you know, it's okay. And every kid gets a participation t-shirt. The t-shirts get distributed the day of in the classroom, and they generally wear them all day. And they are going to have glow in the dark eyeballs again, which will be cool. And that's that. So $95,000. I need all of you guys to tell the other moms in the grade level to share, and the importance of sharing, and that's it. So that's
Thank you, Alyssa.
that's
And
that.
a
Can't
couple,
wait to hear more information about the schedule and the volunteer signups and how to pledge.
thank you.
All right.
And Cheryl, forgot this update too. And Alyssa, I'm working with I'm trying to get a hold of the movie theater. So I'm gonna start knocking down doors. I already emailed, but I'm gonna be like, hey, it's me. The other thing too, another first grade parent actually has 40 tickets to Six Flags that she has extra that can be used up until the end of December. So I was thinking maybe we and talk to all of you, see how everyone wants to do it, but maybe if we wanted to share that with, I don't know, maybe like a class, or I don't know, it was something just like as a prize incentive, but she has those to donate. So however we can do it. I don't know if we could, the raffle piece, I was a little bit, I had to figure out with Cheryl and with Marine, because I don't think we can do raffles, right?
Well, we definitely can't call it a raffle, yeah, or design it as a raffle.
Opportunity drawing, is that what the technical term is? Or
If it's not a raffle,
Well, it's just a prize. I mean, if it's just a prize, that
it could be a prize. Well, we basically have 40
not a
for the end of the year. So Alyssa, if you'd like to use those towards something, or
We'll have to talk on how we could do that. In the past, when I've done rewards, like for people that registered or whatever, it was brought to the attention where some teachers didn't pass them out because they felt it wasn't equitable.
Sure.
Where kids don't have the option to sign up. It's their parents that do it. And so whatever, I mean, I would love to use them. Let's see how we could do it equitably so it's even fair and there's no pushback. And
perfect.
And I think a drawing is like the best.
Okay.
But
yeah.
and then maybe we split them up. There was 40 tickets.
There's
You
40.
can have winners from all the different grade levels. And yeah.
That could be fun. And we can talk through the technicalities of it to make sure it's not raffle-like, but I don't think it is because nobody's paying to win.
And also too, if we do that, let's save it as a drive or a push to get more participation. Because at the very end, like the last week or 10 days or, maybe 2 weeks, we can roll it out to get that last minute push to push us over the threshold.
Awesome. Thank you.
one note with that, I know last year there was like a donated Disneyland ticket, and We did the drawing of it like privately because just to make sure that we could check with that parent first,
Yeah.
like, is this something that your family can actually go do versus like, here, you won this and then can't use it, or it doesn't always work for every family. So just a note for logistics.
Good call. All right, thanks for the great discussion. I'm just gonna keep going and blow through this since I think we're almost at the end of our time here. We are going to aim to have a subpar fundraiser. I think we did this last year as a fourth grade science camp fundraiser, and it worked out really well. So I think we're gonna try to do that again. Books Inc. we kind of talked about, and if you've ever attended before, it's just one night that we all get to shop at Books Inc. and we get a portion of the proceeds. We'll have another one in February. Let's see. We're still kind of confirming that, and then I would like to kick off a readathon around that event as well. So more on that and the timing. We're going to try to have several dine and donates throughout Alameda and nearby, where different restaurants, we'll promote different nights for Wolves Night Out, and we can capture parts of the proceeds for any of those evenings. So I have a whole list of potential restaurants that we could be doing that at. A few of us are gathering tomorrow to kick off a yearbook committee of sorts. And so I think that this is actually more of a nice thing to add to the community and traditions of Maya Lin. We'll see how much of a fundraiser it actually is, but I don't think we've had a whole school yearbook in a while, or I'm not sure ever. Yeah, but there's been like a fifth grade one. So we're going to try to distribute that sometime at the end of the year, but we'll be selling that, and we'll see. And we'll obviously budget for that and try to make some money on that. We'll also try to keep it reasonable for everybody as well. So we'll see. I came across a sneaker drive that is great for recycling sneakers. So both green benefits there, and then green committee benefits there, and then also we earn per certain amount per pair of sneakers. There's a lot of excitement around having an online and a potential silent auction. And we'll have to bring together a committee. We do already have a handful of people that have risen their hands to help with this. And so I'm going to try to reach out to them. I think I have their names kind of in the fundraising committee thing. But we're just getting started thinking about which businesses around Alameda. So if any of you, can think of possible businesses or your own businesses that you might want to donate, the idea is that we would bid on them either in an online fashion or at an in-person event, and hopefully make some of our fundraising goal through that. Hosted parties might potentially be tied into this auction, but some schools around in the district do this thing where families might donate different kinds of parties that they're willing to host, and people bid on those. And so it might just be part of the auction, or if we get enough energy throughout the year, maybe we'll make that an ongoing thing. So I think those are the list of ideas. We'll see, we'll kind of keep track of this and kind of like see how we're tracking towards the budget and our fundraising goals, and see, certainly we want to make our budget, but there's no reason to, overextend ourselves if we're already tracking really high in those. So there's a lot of good energy and ideas around all of this. And please do, if you have any good ideas about these events or other fundraising events, please reach out to me.
Thank you, Cheryl. And Josh, as I see your comment here, no one attended. So if you need help, like, I'm happy to hop on a call too, like more.
Yeah, that would be great. Just briefly, there was a change, and I don't know how aware folks are. We raised a lot of money last year, spent a lot of time fundraising for the science camp trip. We were getting the paperwork all for it to happen. Someone in the district basically responded with, "We're only approving the trip if your students don't swim." Swimming, which is a bigger than just not swimming, it means that they're not staying in cabins with other schools, because we're the only school district that doesn't have the risk tolerance for swimming to have happen. It's a last minute change in how things have been done before. And the response from the district was basically, it's just higher than our threshold for risk. We invited them to come talk tonight and have a dialogue because this seems to be an ongoing trend with when we try to do something and fundraise and we just get told no without a lot of reasoning or opportunity to discuss why that is. And at such a last minute, it feels disrespectful of the effort that we put into it. So respectfully, I'd like to channel that energy into creating more dialogue, something more positive, but that's going to involve a little bit of organization and letting folks know that we're unhappy with how things are and that parents care and want to make the experience of our students better. And we want to work with the district because it's not that we want to like get special treatment. We just want to make sure that expectations aren't changed last minute, that the communication is there. And sometimes you have to be a little squeaky to get heard. So I would love it if people would just give Scuderi a call tomorrow and say, hey, why didn't anybody show up? That would be great. Thanks.
Can
And
you
just one
clarify
thing-
what the issue was about? Sorry.
Yeah, so basically we had forms that we signed that had parents sign that were released at Camp Campbell to allow them to swim at the camp. It's a lifeguarded pool. They do a test. It's 3 feet deep all the way across. It's a very safe environment for swimming. And we were told that we're not allowed to have our students swim, even with these waivers signed, because it's above the risk tolerance of AUSD. Now, when we went back to Camp Campbell and said, well, does this happen often? Or is this something that other school districts do? The response was basically, no, it's pretty much only Alameda.
Do you know what happened 2 years ago? There was just an incident in a pool at the science camp. Maybe that's where it came from.
Yeah, but there's been no dialogue with the district about it, right? Like there's been no, it was a week out before the event where they're saying, no, this can't happen. This is a trip that happens every year.
Yeah,
so if it was 2 years ago or whatever, as we're setting expectation with the students, as we're trying to organize with Camp Campbell about what activities they're doing, it is an issue of like respecting parents' energy and time that we spent fundraising for it and trying to meet and work with the district to do it. And this is something that happened not only with this trip, but when we try to do work in the garden, when we try to do stuff in the playground, right? Like it's just a trend. And so it's an opportunity to open a dialogue with them and to make a little noise because we're unhappy.
Yeah, and Michael Kelly did say that he feels like this is more of a knee-jerk reaction to what happened last year, which I mean, I'm unclear on the details, but yeah, that it was sort of flagged this year as a response to that, which is not necessarily fair. So yeah, it would be great to have some dialogue from the district.
And then, so I can just add 2 pieces of clarifying information that I've gotten. So the district has changed the way they monitor field trips. So previously it was monitored through Ed Services. Now it's being monitored by business services. So that's part of why there was increased scrutiny this round, was because the people that are checking the forms have shifted. So that's one piece in the shift. Another piece that I have learned in the past few hours, have learned very recently is, and again, folks here know that this is my 2nd year here. When the permission slips were submitted or filled out by Maya Lynn's staff, by Mr. Kelly, he listed out one of the activities as swimming. And I think previously that hadn't been listed on the field trip form. And so that also flagged it. Again, this is, that flagged it at the district level as there's swimming.
So I know I'm a little like, let's
no, and I'm just
from like flagging a teacher here on this. Like I just am a little sensitive to like the district throwing a teacher under the bus for their decision.
Yeah. No, and I guess, and then the last thing I'll say is I think the concerns of we're the only district that doesn't allow this. Like, I think that is a place for some really productive dialogue. I think that this is last minute. I think that would be some pushback because there was a bit of like, it wasn't clear. Anyway, and maybe we can talk offline, but I would urge the push to be around like why is our risk tolerance here and like others is here? Because anyway, I guess that's just what I can say.
Yeah, I understand that. I think the issue with the urgency is that the trip is next week, and we would like to have an opportunity to have a more nuanced discussion with them than what they've said. And if they've changed the process, why are they not informing us of this process change of who's approving it and what that process is in doing so? Like, we were working on this for a year. So like, I agree, like, the emphasis is on, hey, why is your risk tolerance out of step with the rest of the Bay Area on this? And, how can we help alleviate that and understand how you're defining risk and where this is? I mean, honestly, like, what if people go to Crab Cove and they go tide pooling in Crab Cove? That feels a little bit more dangerous than an observed swimming pool with life jackets and tests. Anyway, there's no dialogue, so we need to have one.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Josh. And then Kyle, I think you just, right before we log off, we have just a few more minutes. Did you want to share with the group your proposed group?
Yeah, thanks. Can I share my screen real quick?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, my name is Kyle Navis. I am the parent of a first grader in room 3, and I can't share my screen for some reason. So I'll just talk through it. It's probably not your fault. It's probably mine.
Okay.
So what I want to propose is a dad's club run through the PTA. And the idea here is just inspired by other AUSD and area schools. It would be open to all, not just dads. There'd be no obligation to participate. It's fine if everyone or anyone can't make an event or a meeting. The idea here is for the first year, set some really low bar goals, like set up a listserv, do a quarterly dad's social hour, and then maybe do something like a dad's work day that could be auctioned off in a silent auction for, if a silent auction is something that happens, or if not, maybe be done to meet like school needs, whatever those might look like, and fit within the school's risk profile, I guess. Another thing would be just thinking through how this fits with the PTA. I was looking through the kind of the 3 big pushes that the PTA works on, with funding. I imagine that a dad's club could help contribute by helping out at PTA events. Dad's club could, the labor could be donated for a silent auction. In terms of how the PTA supports community events, I think that a dad's club could help marshal resources and build community around different events. And then for providing clear channels of communication, I think that this would be an opportunity to connect with other dads around shared activities and really work to promote being involved in our kids' lives and at school a little bit more, since traditionally there's been maybe some challenges with that around dads in particular. So yeah, that's the idea I have. Sorry, I can't share my screen and show my 2 slides, but
Thank you. Well, and Kyle, I was out connecting with Meringue too in terms of just like the process of it. Like it doesn't necessarily need to be a committee, but we could potentially just have it like a dad's affinity group. And then all the things that you're saying, kind of you all like having a parent square, so that you like have parent like dads or whoever wants to participate join, and like you're like connecting however you feel is the best. But I love those ideas. Sound fantastic to me. I hope everyone else feels the same way too.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm agnostic as to the formal vehicle to make it happen. Don't want to step on any toes by making it an affinity group. But if that's something you recommend, great. I'll defer to the PTA and
yeah, in terms of just communication, and then that way it might be an easy way for you just like get everyone on board. And it's like the affinity group is just, you don't have to have a coffee to be an affinity group, but just it can be something where if you guys wanted to, just a way to communicate with everyone. But yeah, and you can just kind of communicate that way through the Parent Square app for all the dads that want to join and whoever. So
sounds great.
Does that sound good? Okay.
Yeah.
So then, and I don't think, Moran, we don't need to vote on the correct, like so we don't need to vote on it. So I think next steps is just Karen, if we can create the affinity group in Parent Square, and then make Kyle the owner. And then Kyle, I don't know if you're in there too much, but it's pretty easy to post. So once you're in there.
Since we are Maya Lynn, should we have people identifying as dads too?
Yeah. That's what you were saying, right, Kyle? Like anyone can join?
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure I understood the question.
Oh, just, you're calling it a dad group, and I just wanted to make sure that that was like open to
Yes.
lots of different genders and
Yes.
people who
Open to
identify as
all.
dads who might not be the
Yes.
traditional dad.
Get your big tent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go that way. Absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Great. All right. Well, we are 2 minutes over. So sorry. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a beautiful night. We'll see everyone bright and early tomorrow. Unless anyone has anything else to say, please email the myolin@gmail, and I will respond within 24 hours. Thank you. Have a beautiful night.
Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.